All right. You're watching GEEKCASTER. This is part 2 of our conversation about Sinners. We just finished talking about Lee Jun Lee and how she went out.
Trying to choke on a gummy bear.
Yeah, like
yeah.
a G.
So this is probably one of the more disjointed reviews we're giving. We're kind of all over the place, but
still in it. But still in it.
Yeah. So from there, I don't know, where do you want to go? Cinematography we talked about. Roughly the plot. We are jumping around a bit, but this, I guess, is the version for those who've already seen it, and we're just kind of giving the commentary as we cook it up.
Let's see.
So where do you want to go with it next?
Let's see. Well, there's a lot in the film. There's a lot of things borrowed and cooked up. Again, in short, what we mentioned in the last episode, the world building was great. The cinematography was great. Had an indie feel at some times, and it felt cinematography definitely. Now that you said that, he reached out to Christopher Nolan for some advice, and different parts of it felt like it was shot differently, even though it was the same camera work.
Certain elements of what Nolan did, I want to say particularly with like Oppenheimer, certain shots and sequences that they filmed Oppenheimer, he consulted with him on that and how to get just what they were going for. It might even have been like when the place sets on fire during that previous sequence, and you see it gradually kind of like, it doesn't really set on fire, but it starts to burn from the roof, and you have that kind of like spiraling shot, or like that rotating shot of them overhead. That might have been what they were going for from the Nolan stuff, but it looks good to me. I don't know if I would call it like shot like an indie thing, because indie, you're open a wide bag of possibilities. It could look grainy and crappy, or it could look lush and pristine. When you're talking about an indie film,
I guess I had a different feeling because it was a lot of wide, open shots, which totally makes sense, right? He really wanted people to, at least what I'm getting from, he wanted people to be immersed into this world. Hey, I'm building this world. We're back in time, and wide shots tend to do that. Mid shots and wide shots tend to bring people in.
Particularly when they're like outdoors and stuff. They want to capture you're in 1932. They're trying to immerse you in nature. You're not like in the city. Well, are they in the city? No, it's a town, and then there's the kind of like rural area where the actual party's taking place. So when it came to getting those like nature shots, and I thought like the sound too, particularly because you hear that kind of like the buzzing bees and stuff. Not the bees, but it was like not the cicadas. Whatever bugs you hear at night, those annoying chirping grasshopper, you hear all that. You hear like the sounds, and when they're running around, the vampires are running in the woods, and they're trolling people. You hear it with the nature, and it just makes it that much more effective, I think.
Did you see Nosferatu? You did, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke about that one, I believe. So
pretty sure
the Steadicam work, going from the store across the street to the other.
Yeah.
I think that's where it felt different, but I liked it a lot. I like because it felt like you were in the town and you were a part amongst the people. And Nosferatu did the same thing, where they built sets and they actually followed the people into the town. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the next 2 years. A lot more people.
We've been seeing a lot that particular like technique used a lot more in film. There was and cinema or TV rather. I saw it in Adolescence. It was this Netflix thing. They filmed it the same way, where you're following one character, they have their interaction with another. The other character will walk in the direction, then the camera will then turn and then follow the other character in that opposite direction. So it does. That's a thing. It's becoming like a popular thing. If you use well, it can be used effectively. So I'm not rattling it or anything.
What was your take on the ending that did not end and they just kept going?
It's an epilogue, y'all. Like he goes on after it's all said and done. The kid chooses music. He chooses his passion, because again, he has an arc. And after that, you fast forward to years and years later, and he made it. He's a musician, and he's doing his thing. He got to be old. He's still got his gnarly scar, and he named his band after the dead chick that Perlene. And then Stack and his girl Mary come through, and you get like the little last bit where he learns, dude, Smoke let me go. We promised that we would never come after you, that we would just leave it alone. But after all those years, they came through and they kind of had their little cathartic farewell to each other. And he even offers him, yo, do you want to become a vampire? And you can keep playing. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm cool.
Right.
So it was a fine ending. I don't know. Again, folks are reaching for crap to say against it, I think, at this point. Folks are really reaching. I want to have something messed up to say about it, but I can't. The last third act, when you realize, too, that the whole venue that they bought, it was actually a trap. That the clan was actually going to.
Right.
It was a setup. The two vampires that Merrick got at the beginning, they were in league with Haas, whatever the dude that sold them
the thing. Yep.
They were going to come back the next morning and kill all of them. Hogwood, yeah, whatever his name was. And realizing that, Smoke, who survives, well, up until that point at least, he takes his Tommy gun, he has his last little moment, and then the dude goes to work. That dude, he goes full on like
Rambo.
Full on Rambo. Because again, he was an army guy, he was a military dude, so he came back with the PTSD, but also a bunch of guns apparently, and takes them down in effective like 1932 gangster fashion, complete with Tommy gun. I'm pretty sure that's what when he busts out right at one point.
Yeah.
Tommy gun, and takes them down. He gets wounded, and then he has like that whole last moment. He gets his nice little farewell though, because as he's slipping away, he starts to hallucinate, or we think he's either crossing over or he's hallucinating Anna.
Right.
And they've just got the baby.
Right.
And there's that moment, and then he's out.
Right.
So pretty crazy.
Do you think they're gonna make a sequel?
I hope not. I was talking to the homie about that as we walked out of the theater. As good as it was, as fun as that is as a one-off, you can see threads as to where Hollywood and Warner Brothers, and its absolute lack of creativity. Wouldn't it be great if we had a prequel about Merrick or the main vampire dude? Let's go back now and show his
or the brothers while they were with Capone.
What were the brothers doing when they were with Capone? Nothing has anything to do with vampires, really, but just any jump off point to keep the franchise, to make it a franchise, basically. So I hope they don't. They don't need to. There's several points as to where they could, but nah.
It's not necessary.
It's unnecessary. Very unnecessary for this film.
But they probably will. Because he owns the rights for any sequels or anything, so I can see him it'll be hard for him to take advantage of not taking advantage of that, but I hope he does not.
If they offer him enough zeros, we'll probably see more, but I can just kind of just jettison the whole thing at that point, because I know it's just, what could it even be? I think what they'll probably go for more is covering those years that Stack and Mary were running around as vampires, but at that point, as much like chemistry as they have as characters and as actors, they're gonna play that out. That's gonna go until people no longer can stand it. So leave it be, y'all. It was dope. Leave it be. Let it just be good.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I agree. Well, we do have time, and I want to switch for something you said last show. You were talking about, 2 shows ago. You talked about Invincible.
Okay.
And I watched the ending again, and I have to agree with you that in that series, we've seen some of the best animated fights with superheroes ever.
From America or wherever it is?
From America, yeah.
if for like an American animated TV series, I would definitely say it's got some of the best stuff in it.
Of course.
I would
Anime.
argue though, with an asterisk,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the cues that they take from Invincible, I would say we've seen in the older DC animated films.
Okay.
Those have a lot more weight and have a lot more to their action sequences and their animation than people give them credit for. But Invincible takes some cues from that, and it's still great. It's still fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. And they're scheduled to do 5 seasons, right?
I heard that they have enough for 8 seasons.
Wow.
It depends on how far they go into it. I haven't read all the comics myself.
Mm-hmm.
But if they feel like they have enough material for it, I think they could pull it off between 6 and 8. Because we're on season 4 now, right?
Right. Wow.
4, yeah. I think 6 to 8, that should be about the line, I think, for them.
But there is an end.
There's an end. There's an end.
Wow.
They have a finite end to it.
That's
And
just
then
crazy.
I'm not sure if there's any other spin-off material that they could get into that as well, but I just say complete the main series and then we'll see.
There's so many characters.
There's a lot. I know they could do a lot with a lot of different characters, and I don't know if in the Invincible franchise there is a spin-off comic or anything, but if there is, I'm sure we'll hear about it.
And Daredevil Reborn.
Oh yeah, that.
Are you feeling
We
it?
might want to save that one for next week because that one finished its season, and it was a few episodes leading up to it that I had to catch up on.
Okay.
It was a mixed bag. That was a mixed bag. You want to talk about not having an arc?
Let's talk about it.
Well, not for Matt or Kingpin necessarily, but other characters that, like the supporting characters, they just prove themselves to be just either plot fodder or just a burden. Vanessa, Exhibit A, because the character that she is now is like, she's almost like an op for Kingpin within his own joint. She's almost like a low-key enemy for Kingpin in his own establishment.
Right.
And vice versa, Matthew has like the worst companion with this chick, Heather.
Right.
The therapist chick, who's Kingpin's therapist, she just gradually just becomes just the crappiest one.
Right.
It's just how she gets down, and this whole thing where after Daredevil saves her life, did you caught up on the show?
Yeah.
You watch it? When Muse was about to murder her in her office, and Daredevil comes in and saves her life. Her argument in the next episode is, these mass vigilantes, they're just driven by violence. They're all crazy.
I saved myself.
And Matt is like, but didn't Daredevil save your life? I saved my life. I'm like, really? Really, miss? As Muse was choking the life out of you, Daredevil jumps through the window and punches the dude off of you, but you saved your life because you shot him at the end? Come on now. So her turn as a character, she just becomes like crap tier, and she only gets worse after that.
100%.
So certain characters, man, they just don't. And then BB, who was Urich's, I guess, niece, she kind of proves more burden than an ally, but she's it was rough. it was rough in places this season.
What do you think about the guy in the cage, Vanessa's ex? That was crazy.
Adam Rip. That was crazy how he did that, man. That was like probably the more interesting, as dark as it was, the more interesting parts of the season was Fisk going down to this dungeon, sitting down to a plate of pristine pasta, and then having this man in the cage talk about, please let me out, Wilson. I'll be good. Please let me out. That was crazy. And then he beats the brakes off him after he comes to him with the axe and gives his whole spiel about a tool can be a great equalizer. And he throws him the axe, lets him out, and then it's business, and he proceeds to beat this man it should have been to death.
Right.
Because after that, Adam's alive, and Vanessa ends up killing him. She shoots him.
I'm
like, dude, after that, I'm like, he lived through that?
Right.
I could have sworn that man was dead. Like,
and she did what she needed to do to prove her loyalty, which makes you question even more now, when is she going to stab him in the back? When is she going to...
Yeah, it's coming sooner rather than later. Mark it now. Her whole argument against Fisk is questionable.
Right.
Because it's like, you went away, you left me. I'm like, he was in hiding after getting shot in the face, right?
Right.
And then it's like, well, that's a betrayal. So now let me have a side guy. And then I'm like, all right, you're going real scummed here. But she's gonna stab him in the back.
Right. And he knows that. He
knows it, and he's gonna let it happen. That's kind of the whack part about it.
Right.
He's gonna let it happen because it's Wilson. That's it. She's his Achilles heel, man. She makes him weak. Like that's what that is. Oy.
Are you a fan of Andor series?
I haven't watched it yet. I know people are divided between loving it and hating it. And
the first season or the second season?
I haven't seen either season. I know there's a second one that's coming up, but I haven't watched the first yet.
For a Star Wars drama, out of all the spin-offs, this is the best one. The best writing. It's not reliant on special effects. It's reliant on a story. And I think that's why
more espionage and intrigue and all that stuff is what I heard.
Right.
Which sounds different. I'm into it. That's a fresh take.
Because was Rogue One. It kind of gives the vibes of Rogue One, which a lot of people tend to like that more than all the other.
It's one of, if not the best of the newer ilk of Star Wars stuff. It's one of, if not the best joints.
So this is vibing on that. Now, starting to watch. Well, first of all, going through the first season, it took me a while to settle down of what this is going to be and accept it for what it was. And then when I got into it, it's like, oh, okay. But it took like 2 or 3 tries. Like, I'm not watching this. I had to give it a chance.
Okay. So you couldn't just do it in one go?
No.
All right.
No. And it's like
the people that complain about it, the ones that don't like it, say that it was boring and slow. The people that do like it say that they like the kind of paced intrigue. Again, it's like political espionage. You're getting the perspective of the Imperials and the Rebels as they're trying to subvert and subterfuge and all that cool stuff.
Right.
But I'll check it out. It's on the list.
Now, what I don't like is actually, I'm kind of triggered sometimes now from watching certain shows and hearing Drew's voice.
Sorry.
They in season 2, they stop trying to make all these little romance and all these little things in there. It's not necessary.
It's unnecessary. And it's usually not written very well.
No.
And I'm of the mindset where if you can give me a compelling reason as to why I should give a crap about characters A and B coming together in union or whatever, like, throw it in. Give it a shot.
Right.
I'll probably talk crap about it anyway, but if you can make it, like, woven into something interesting, I'm with it.
Right.
I am with it. Companion, we were just talking about that before, right?
Right.
It's a romance, but it's actually interesting in where it goes.
Interesting. Right.
Especially
pop culture commentary in a way of just reflecting how people are very usury. How a lot of relationships are based on using, and as long as they could use you're of use.
As long as you're of use in that moment and giving them what they want in that moment, it's gravy, and then it's abandonment. And all the emotional bullshit and baggage and rage that comes with that. Right. But it can be done well. It's just unnecessary, I would say, in most cases.
Right.
And audiences now, I will say, we've gotten smarter at being able to pick that out.
Mm-hmm.
Certain audiences can pick out when it's just a contrived, tacked on, unnecessary romance.
Remember we used to talk about Arrow?
Yeah.
And even The Flash, it's like too much.
And it was like a CW show, which those were notorious for just throwing all those in. Mm-hmm. Everyone's young and attractive, so let's just have them all just swarming in relationships. It's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I think I'm on episode 2 right now, and I'll give it a little more. But it took until maybe episode 3 for me to settle in on Andor. Okay, this is the pacing. This is what's going on. Let me pay attention.
That's a bar. You got to get used to a show when it comes to that stuff. So 2 episodes, 3, you'll know whether or not if it's for you.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what else is out there that's good?
I'm watching From right now.
What's it, From?
It's a horror show. I'm really on the horror stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a horror show. It's on the MGM Paramount streaming thing.
Okay.
That one, it has, what's the guy? He was the dad in Lost. I want to say his name is Justin Perrineau or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the dudes in, what's the old movie with him and Taye Diggs from back in the day? The Best Man.
Oh, okay.
Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm.
He plays the sheriff in this show.
Oh, wow.
And how I can describe From, without giving too much away,
Mm-hmm.
it is if Dean Koontz and Stephen King went and did their very odd, bizarre horror version of like Mayberry. If there is this town, it's like a protracted Twilight Zone episode. There's this town, people from different parts of the of the country of America, as far as we know, they find themselves on this road which leads to this town, and once they're in this town, they can't get out. They're just stuck. If you try to take the road out, it just guides you right back into the town. And at night, everyone has to seek shelter and hide and erect these talismans on whatever dwelling that you live in. You have to do this at night because revenants or creatures come out of the woods, and akin to vampires, because we're talking about sinners. You have to invite them in as well. They can only come in if you can invite them. And it's like they're on this weird, protracted horror shtick with these creatures that are trying to kill them by night, and them trying to also establish a society and live while trapped in this town. So it's pretty wild stuff.
It's like Twilight Zone thing. The whole can't leave a town. You're just kind of stuck in there.
Yeah, it has like a very Twilight Zone vibe, but it has gruesome stuff in it. It has some romance in it, and doesn't feel contrived. It doesn't feel like it's just there for the sake of being there in most cases. But that's a good one. There's 3 seasons so far.
3? Seems like there's 3 seasons already.
3 seasons. The 4th one's in the works, which gives you the idea of you're not going to learn what's wrong with the town in the short term. So get comfortable. That's why I say it's kind of like Lost in that regard.
Okay, it keeps going.
You get bits and pieces. They start asking interesting questions as early as season 1 to where, how do you guys feed yourselves? Well, there's chickens. I'm like, where do the chickens come from? We don't know. The show starts asking those questions early on. It's like, oh, all right, let's see where it goes. Where do all the wires and electricity go? We don't know.
So wait a minute. So how are we introduced? Are we introduced to the town through someone going into it, and now they can't leave?
Right. You have a family. They're going somewhere. They're on a road trip somewhere. It's the dad, a mom, a boy, and a girl, right? And there's a tree that gets stuck in the road. They go around a tree or they turn back. When they turn back, they're in the town. And after that, they see the people. The people see them, and they're like, "Oh man, more of them." You get early on. It's like, "Oh man, there's like more people." This is like a common thing to them. And after that, they keep just going on a big trek, and piece by piece, they start to learn, "Yo, we can't get out of here," and they're telling us that we have to get off the streets by night because something messed up is going to happen apparently. So it's pretty wild, man. I recommend it.
I mean, that sounds like a great movie, but this is a ongoing series. It really keeps you. It's an ongoing
series, and they make it work. They really do make it work with the characters and how they kind of interact and their own little interpersonal crap that's going on, and the idea that some people in the town are more susceptible to this dark influence that exists in it than others. Okay. So you got some folks that are actually going and committing murders for the town or the forest or whatever it is that's impelling them to do so.
Sheesh.
So, pretty crazy stuff.
So
it's a good one.
May 15th, Love, Sex, Robots? Is that what's coming out?
Love, Death, and Robots? Oh, yeah.
Oh, Love, Death, Robots, right?
Yeah. That's coming back. It was the anthology series where you have different teams. They come in, they make little weird sci-fi shorts that just kind of delve all over the place. It's really good. Yeah,
it's like the anime version of Black Mirror or the
Yeah, I can see that. It's kind of the same ilk of Black Mirror. What's the other one? Secret Level. That was more oriented towards video games.
Right.
So I like these anthology series.
Yeah,
though. There's always
they're pretty cool.
It gives these younger artists and creators, I think, a chance to kind of sharpen their fangs and get their steez and stuff. These other studios
and really be creative.
Oh yeah. You get things that you're not going to get out of average churned out Hollywood that you see
No,
nowadays.
no, like real creativity, original ideas, and like, what was that? And
Oh, Black Mirror has a new season out too, doesn't it?
yes,
Yeah, so I gotta catch up on that.
yeah,
Oh, too much. Too much. I gotta catch up, man.
yeah.
Not enough hours in the day.
And shout out to Goonies. This is like the 40th year anniversary.
Oh, the Goonies? Okay, I remember that one.
So there you go. That's kind of exciting. Yeah, a lot of the classics these that we see on cable are now hitting all these marks.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to churn out a remake of that yet, the Goonies.
They've been talking about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not surprised, but
Yeah.
there's nothing in the tank for him, dude.
Yeah.
I guess, no, Sinners gives us some hope. It was definitely its own thing. It's its own beast. I haven't given up hope entirely yet. If you can get the occasional banger that's its own thing and isn't setting out to just reinvent the wheel or just be a remake, a derivative of a derivative, I'm with it.
Yeah. And I think that's the big win of that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
And the
too
deal.
crazy.
I mean, it's really huge to be able to own your own rights and be able to get a larger stake, which I think more and more directors, because of that deal, are going to be asking for that, which will actually give more creativity and power to the actual filmmakers.
in whatever scope that you're dealing with, these major like companies and stuff, if they get more leeway to make the type of film that they want, I would always look at it from this standpoint. Even if you're like some soulless executive for a company, you still want to make a product that you still want to make products that people are interested and excited to see, right? Even if it's something unknown, even if it's something different or like outside of the norm, if people are interested in it, you've got an audience. So why not back it? You know? So I just let them cook is the expression.
Yeah, let them
Let
cook.
them cook.
So next week, Daredevil. What else? We said we were going to table. We said we were going to table one or two things.
Oh yeah. I'm not quite sure what else. It was all kind of a blur. But yeah, Daredevil, we can pick up on that next time. Any movies coming out?
There's a bunch. I think.
There's only like a few that I'm ever interested in at once. Maybe Thunderbolts. I don't know. I kind of
I kind of like
Yeah, I kind of don't care. There's 28 years later. We can kind of get into that. It's not out yet, but I'm willing to talk about that one next week, just as a primer before it comes out. And I don't know. I guess whatever worst case scenario, we could freestyle it. Whatever's going on that week.
That sounds good. All righty. You're watching GEEKCASTER. Thank you, Drew. I'm Seven, and we'll see you at the movies?
Maybe.
Or streaming. Have a good one. We're out of here. Give him some music. Why not?